Bro, this is crazy.
And then I had to jump out of the window and then swim the rest of the way through. I was very scared, very nervous. I was like, but I had to get out.
Tonight, flooded streets, collapsed roads, drivers trapped in the rising water. Historic flooding overwhelming our area overnight, pushing Milwaukee County into a state of emergency. Good evening. Thanks for looking in. I'm Bill Walsh.
And I'm Natalie Shepard. It's flooding that forecasters say only happens once every 500 years. The first domino to fall, chaos at Wisconsin State Fair Park last night. Fairgoers trudged through floodwater, many stuck in the parking lot for more than an hour. And today, organizers were forced to cancel the fair's last day.
And that chaos spilled onto the interstate. This, the scene just outside American Family Field this morning. Cars left behind until waters recede. Their owners forced to leave them behind as rescue crews pulled those drivers to safety.
The scenes just like that one playing out all across our hometowns. Rivers swelled, breaking the banks. More than 20,000 people are still without power this evening. Others in our area dealing with flooded basements and water damage.
So we've got a lot to get to. Our team tracking impacts on the roads and homes and businesses, but we have more rain in the forecast.
That's right. So let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Drew Burgoyne. Not news anyone wants to hear, Drew.
No, and thankfully this afternoon we had a lot of dry time, but a new record, an all-time record, could have been set out of this event. The 24-hour record total for the state was 11.72 inches. That was back in 1946. There was a MMSD sensor on the northwest side of Milwaukee that recorded 14.50 inches of rain. They will have to confirm that, but there's a good chance that a new all-time record was set. Many areas across southeastern Wisconsin picking up 5 to 10 inches of rainfall. We still have that flood warning for Ozaukee, Milwaukee, Waukesha into Washington counties. That goes until 7 o'clock. Everyone else remains under a flood watch. The question is, when will we see some storms? They are developing throughout portions of Iowa, and they will be tracking into our area probably closer to 10 o'clock. So still plenty of dry time this evening, not much going on. If anything, it would be isolated. But once we start to get to 10, 11, about midnight or so, some rain and some storms will be possible. Nothing like last night. We're not going to be dealing with training thunderstorms. This would be less than an inch, but it won't take much, obviously, to cause more issues. And it looks like we will be quieting down at least over the next 24 hours. We'll walk you through that and a cool down coming up in your CBS 58 weather.
All right, we'll talk to you in just a bit, Drew. Thank you very much. And of course, this will be a lengthy recovery process that could take weeks or in some cases even months. Milwaukee County is in a state of emergency as people try to dry out and start repairing that damage.
Our Adam Reif live after speaking with local leaders about what the next several weeks could look like. Adam.
Natalie and Bill, good afternoon to you. We're here on 47th in Brown Deer, just north of Bradley. Take a look at this road, completely washed out, completely broken. It appears that rushing rainwater has washed away all the support for that metal viaduct and completely collapsed the road. We Energies is on scene assessing this damage, but it'll take time to fix this road. And that scene is playing out all across the area. This will take time because this has been a very lengthy and very damaging storm.
We had 14 inches of rain in this location right here, which is an intense amount in a short period of time. So there's no sewer system across the country that can maintain that amount.
Historic rain Saturday night into Sunday morning caused chest-high flooding, rivers to burst their banks, power outages, and dangerous road conditions. With thousands of people impacted and resources strained, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley declared a state of emergency.
But this allows us to tap into other state resources as well as federal resources related to FEMA or anything else that we may be able to go after.
State investigators will soon come in to check affected areas.
They're going to send out an incident management team. They're going to do a preliminary assessment of the conditions associated with the financial costs.
But there's no timetable yet for when that will happen. So for now, the response falls to local agencies. Emergency crews were taxed throughout the night, responding to emergencies like gas leaks, downed wires, and transformer explosions. The fire department alone took 614 separate assignments.
We actually split our dive team in half last night. so that we could just hit more runs.
MFD performed 65 water rescues, most of them for people stranded in their vehicles.
We pulled dozens of people out of cars and off of cars trapped in the middle of floodwaters.
Gregory Robinson didn't know if he'd survive Saturday night.
I could have almost drowned in the car.
He got stuck near Capitol and 31st when he couldn't see how deep the water was through the dark and pouring rain. He couldn't open his door and wondered if he'd be able to break the window. Then
rolled down the window, and then I had to jump out of the window and then swim.
Public Works crews worked around the clock to clear stranded cars and clog storm drains.
Our tow trucks are trying to get there, trying to open up waterways. That's our first priority.
Back out live here in Brown Deer, you can see the force of the rushing water. The rain has stopped for now, but this water is still a problem and obviously dangerous if anyone was to get close. It will take a while to repair all of the damage, especially the monetary damage, as they work to get some of the funding that might be available. The Emergency Operations Center will stay open for some time, and that includes local, state, and federal authorities working together. But as the fire chief told us today, they are still recovering, and we are still in the middle of it. Natalie and Bill, back to you.
Well, and just hearing how many calls they went out on kind of gives you a scope of the issues out there. Adam, thank you so much.
And the Menominee River still causing flooding across the area.
Our Jenna Wells is live in Wauwatosa, where waters have taken over basements, train tracks, and parks. And Jenna, what are you seeing out there?
Well, Natalie and Bill, I'm just outside of the Menominee River at the 70th Street Bridge. You can hear it, and of course here I'll get out of the way so that you can see it absolutely rushing under the 70th Street Bridge. There have been people out and about all around Wauwatosa, the village of Tosa as well, all day watching this water and surveying the damage. Let me show you some video here. It's from Hart Park earlier today. That was before Wauwatosa police told us they made an order to close the park to the public until further notice. The grass area at Hart Park is completely flooded with the river still rushing. However, that is supposed to happen. Hart Park was expanded in 2007 to be a levee system meant to reduce flood risk to homes and roadways in the area by holding in that river water. However, these waters were high enough to cause damage to the Hart Park playground. The turf and some equipment was pulled up. Some concrete is broken in the area. The football field at Hart Park also underwater.
We're just blown away at the force and the magnitude of the water, and it's just devastating. We come here all the time, and it's just, it's wrecked.
So hopefully it's a quick recovery, and kids can get back down here and having a good time.
Just down State Street, the village of Wauwatosa is also battling floodwaters, with many businesses on the river there closed. We could even hear alarms going off inside Cafe Hollander. Dozens of buoys are also washed up behind those buildings. A commissioner tells us they were probably from construction projects on the river. That was according to a commissioner with the Wauwatosa Parks Department. The Tosa police told me and are telling everyone to avoid any impassable areas or any flood waters. They're also asking everyone to only call 911 in the case of a life-threatening emergency where you need an immediate response. They said they've received over 500 calls just overnight and into today. Some of those just not immediate emergencies, and that is causing a backup. So they want you to call only if you are in need of immediate medical, fire, or police attention. You can call 211 for any other non-emergent concerns, like if your basement is flooded or if you need help finding some resources. 211 is that number for you. And I will say, since we've been out here by the Menominee River, we actually have seen the water level go down a bit. So maybe that's some good news. Bill, Natalie.
Some good news out of that, Jenna. Thank you very much for your live report.
Well, the flooding was so extreme in some areas that people were actually trapped in their own homes.
Our AJ Bayatpour watched a number of rescues happen this morning in Wauwatosa.
A long stretch of Menominee River Parkway is essentially an extension of the Menominee River now. As you see, those mailboxes and street signs submerged, and that water also partially submerging people's homes. Tosa firefighters, along with the DNR, spending much of this Sunday morning rescuing people by boat.
This is just something that you don't really think you have to go through as a parent, and you kind of feel a little helpless, but everybody's helping everybody out.
Brian Baxter was out of town this weekend, but he rushed back when his 2 teenage daughters called in the middle of the night.
I was shocked by what I saw. When Braylee called me this morning and she said, "Hey Dad, it's getting bad down here and the water's getting high." So we did a FaceTime real quick just so I could see it, and I was shocked at what I saw.
Overnight, historically high rain totals caused the Menominee River to rage. The river moves like rapids through a flooded Hart Park. The Baxters are just one of the families along a stretch of Menominee River Parkway where homes flooded in an instant.
I was a little nervous. I mean, like, when I first saw it, like, the water was coming up towards the garage, so I called my dad, and I was a little bit nervous since they weren't home, but I think I handled it pretty well. Kind of just stayed on the high ground, but it was a little nerve-wracking.
As the sun rose, the Department of Natural Resources arrived with a boat. Wardens make runs taking families and their pets to safety.
Yeah, he was on the boat with us.
How did he handle it?
Very well. He was a little scared, but he got used to it, and yeah, he's good now.
When the river returns to its banks, these families will brace to see what's left in their basements. In the face of disaster, Baxter notes no one should rebuild alone.
Just keep being there for each other, help each other out, whether it's maybe getting somebody a sandwich or maybe helping them move stuff out of their basement or helping them clean up. Just keep supporting each other, and that's what this community is all about.
In Wauwatosa, AJ Bayapur, CBS 58 News.
Well, and speaking of help, the American Red Cross of Wisconsin has opened a shelter at Holler Park in Milwaukee. Right now they're providing food, water, emotional support, and a place to charge phones. Last night, 10 people, 4 puppies, and 3 dogs stayed there.
There's, adequate showers, bathrooms. There's a lot of space for cots and feeding services. We'll be here as long as folks need it.
All are welcome, and anyone in need can call 1-800-RED-CROSS for help. Again, the shelter that's open at Holler Park in Milwaukee.
Flash flooding impacted thousands across southeast Wisconsin. That includes West Allis.
Our Pavlina Asta talked with people who started their day facing the reality of rebuilding after this flood.
Saturday's flash floods filled basements.
5 feet of water in the basement.
Took over streets.
And when we looked out our windows, it was like a river in this area where I'm standing.
Submerging cars in its path.
That vehicle over there tried to drive through it.
Dina DeBerry lives in an apartment at 83rd and Orchard in West Allis.
For this to happen in a short time that it did, it's pretty scary because the water accumulated very fast.
While her home is okay, her car is stuck floating in the building's parking garage.
We were just told that there's 10 feet of water in our garage and they're not even parked in the stalls where we put them.
Across the street, Lloyd Buckner's beloved garden is in ruins.
We love it. Love the tomatoes, love the peppers. I use my fence as a trellis.
His prized veggies bobbing in the water.
Retreated and put them on the steps to get them a little bit out of it.
You can see here the water hits as high as my shoulders. As the water rose, Buckner and his wife prepared for the worst.
We packed a couple bags, put them in garbage bags so they stayed dry because we're going to wade across the pond and get to higher ground.
He says now it's time to rebuild.
You can get mad, you can scream, you can cry, but the fact is you got to just roll up your sleeves and get stuff done.
Well, that was Pavlina Asta reporting, and what those people are seeing with the floodwater seeping into the underground parking garage there, well, that is happening in basements across the area.
Let's go to our Jacob Murphy, south side of Milwaukee, where homeowners there are feeling the impact. Jacob.
Well, Bill and Natalie, we're on 21st Street, just north of Howard Ave in the south side of Milwaukee near the Wilson Park area. And every homeowner we've talked to here on 21st, they have had some kind of flooding in their basement. And we've got a whole row of houses here on 21st. They've been forced to move stuff from the basement onto the curb that was ruined by that water getting into the basement. One family we met has been living here for 43 years, and they've dealt with flooding before, but nothing like this, they say. They actually prepared for flooding, putting their furnace and other items on cinder blocks in their basement, but that was not enough. They say the water got 2 feet high and ruined the furnace, washer, the dryer, and more.
I know other families are worse than we are. So, like I said, I'm just thankful that we're okay, that we are able to clean this up and do this ourselves, and to the best of our ability.
If you're still dealing with flooding tonight and trying to get stuff out of your basement that's still in water, The city of Milwaukee says it's smart to make sure all electricity is off in your house before you do so. In Milwaukee, Jacob Murphy, CBS 58 News.
Yeah, Jacob, thanks. This water just ruining a lot of lives temporarily, and they said it well. Some people are even worse off.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's like just a disaster across the whole area. One thing though, the Milwaukee Brewers did not cancel their afternoon game today. Flooding didn't directly impact American Family Field, but about half of the parking lots and some access roads are closed. The Brewers say anyone with tickets or prepaid parking who did not make it to today's game will get a credit for a 2025 regular season home game. Now, an email with the instructions will go out to fans by noon tomorrow, so look for that.
Given that the ballpark is in fine shape, and given that we weren't going to compromise, law enforcement or other governmental officials to try to deal with the flooding situations, we felt we could play the game under these circumstances.
All right, well, we did get video of the roof leaking in last night's game. Schlesinger, who you heard from there, says the roof is movable. It cannot be completely watertight. That's why, but they will have some conversations about those leaks. And the flash flooding did not stop fans from coming to the game. It was another sellout, and hey, a good game for it too. Our Scott Grodsky has the highlights from the Crew's comeback win. That's later in sports.